Hey June, want to be on my space cast?
Sure.
Recently, Netflix released a new animated series from Pendleton Ward, creator of Adventure Time, called The Midnight Gospel. The show follows the adventures of Clancy, a character living in a dimension known as the Chromatic Ribbon, who travels to different worlds to interview guests on his space cast. The show combines recordings of podcasts from the Duncan Trussell Family Hour with stunning animation to create a show that's unlike anything else.
I didn't actually know it was a real podcast. I just thought it was like they made it just for that show. That's cool.
Oh, really?
Maybe I should look into that because the topics are really interesting. How they talk about them.
Well, that's the thing. From my knowledge, the show is actually it's like a really old show, like from 2013. I don't know if they're still recording episodes or not. I should probably look into that.
Really? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have done more research myself before talking about it, because that puts a kind of a new light, like a new context on some of the very few talking points that I have.
So I guess this is Netflix lately. They've been kind of like hitting it out of the park when it comes to just like animation, because they're doing a lot more like experimental stuff than they used to do. They're getting all these like big cartoon creators, allowing them to be more creative, of course, through Netflix. It's nice to see Pendleton Ward get that, because I think both of us are big like Adventure Time fans, at least the first few seasons.
I mean, yeah, the first few seasons, because it's like I have my problems with later Adventure Time. I was still sad when it ended, because, you know, it was still like one of those big cartoons for me that I watched a lot of. I watched religiously when I could, and so like I like some of the stuff they do at the end of the series. I just don't like the giant middle part. I think, was it like season like 4? Is that like where the good stuff started to become more parsed out?
I'd say season 4 was the last good season. Season 5 and beyond isn't very good. But I guess we don't want to dwell too much on Adventure Time, because that's kind of a topic all on its own. It's just kind of interesting to see that, because both of us, we weren't like big fans of the later seasons of Adventure Time, which, to my knowledge, Pendleton Ward actually left after season 5, I think. So just kind of like being able to kind of see his style of humor again, but like in a new show, like a fresh start for him, was really nice. I really liked that.
It's an interesting concept. I didn't even know there was going to be like an actual podcast angle to it. Like, I thought that was just like the premise of the show and that was it. So it's like, it's cool that he got to do something also completely unique and separate from Adventure Time. Like, it's like, you know, it obviously is him, but like, it's his own. It's like it's his own thing rather than just Adventure Time again.
Yeah,
you know?
And I think this is really like, it's a showcase of like the power of animation, like how with animation you can really do anything with it.
This is one of those great examples of like that like idea, but like actually, like, they actually do it. Like, it's like the polar opposite of King of the Hill, where it's like King of the Hill does not need to be animated at all, but it's still very good, right? But it's like, this is really good, but it's like it could only be animated. Like, if you did this live action, it would be completely different. It would lose all of the like charm and stuff,
all of the appeal. Yeah, like it definitely
would be Speed Racer.
Yeah, I guess. But it definitely feels like it's made for people who are fans of animation. The animation here is like really good for the most part. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to add on to that. It's just, it looks really nice. And to be honest, if I had to like, because this feels like its own thing, like there's nothing else like it. But like, if I had to compare it to what it reminded me of, it reminds me a lot of like animated films they used to make that were more experimental, like back in the like late 60s and 70s, like Yellow Submarine or Fantastic Planet, where it's kind of like that was back, like, they didn't have the technology to do, like, all this big CG in movies and stuff, so if they wanted to do something really, like, trippy or crazy, it would have to be through animation. That was the only way to do it.
Well, I guess I should go into my talking points, the
Sure.
ones that I have. I guess I should actually start in the middle, because both of mine, I feel, my other 2 points are like, they like talk about the ending and whatnot. So I'll go to instead of going straight to that, I'm gonna go and talk about the fact that, like, I really like the podcast segments and I really like the story segments, but like I was almost okay. Well, I wouldn't say like angry. I just say like slightly annoyed whenever they like transition from one to the other.
Yeah.
Because like I really like it when they're like doing all sorts of like weird, like psychedelic cyberpunk future kind of like world building, and also I mean hanging out with Clancy and stuff, and like when they like you learn about his past and all that, you like learn about his relationship with his like sister and all that. It's like, oh, that's really cool. And then it switches over to a podcast, and they obviously don't bring it up at all because it's a podcast.
Yeah,
right? Like,
and
so it's like, oh man. And then sorry for interrupting. When they do then the podcast part, and then all of a sudden the podcast ends and it switches back to like the regular story. I'm like, oh, I wanted to hear what else they had to say about that. That was cool.
Well, that's why I guess you could go online, and they probably have more to the podcast online. Like the meditation guy in that one episode, he only gets like maybe 10 minutes or less to talk.
I mean, I almost kind of feel bad that I didn't know it was part of the podcast, because like maybe I wasn't paying attention to the credits like enough, but like I should have. I wish they would have like had some sort of like, I don't know, disclaimer in the credits or something saying, oh, it's part of his podcast. What was it called? The Duncan Family Hour?
Yeah, it's like Duncan Trussell Family Hour.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's also another thing I like, is when they're in the podcast section, even though he's Clancy, they'll refer to him as Duncan.
Yeah, and there's just that running gag where he's like, who's Duncan?
Is it a running gag? I don't know. I only like...
They do at least twice, I think.
Yeah. Okay. But, no, I like that too. He just goes, who's Duncan? No, I wish that... I almost wish I could have like 2 separate cartoons, but at the same time I don't, because I think they execute it really well. The show is really well.
That's
I like
kind
it
of
as
the
a
charm
break
of
place.
it.
Yeah.
But I was just gonna like adding on what you said about like those 2 things not mixing, because I can see that being someone's complaint about the show. I could see someone watching this and being like just kind of thrown off by the fact that like 1 second you're in this like crazy dimension, but then they get there and they're just talking about something like really not interesting, but more like down to earth. I'd say, like,
or just something that affects us in the real world, not in their...
Yeah, that wouldn't be in like that fantasy world.
Like, they wouldn't be talking about homelessness in LA. They'd be talking about homelessness in like the cryop sector or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
but it's like I said, where that's kind of the appeal of the show. It's not, you're not supposed to really think about it too hard.
Yeah.
I think it kind of adds to like the kind of like trippy kind of sense of humor that the show has.
I read a recent study that said medical marijuana was associated with close to 30% fewer deaths.
It's actually more data's come in since that.
What's the data?
The data is if there's available recreational pot, opiate use is way down.
Oh, so it is helping.
The animation really does have to carry all of the gags. Like when you're doing, like, it's still funny at the beginning when they have all this stuff going down. Like, what's his name? Danny Hoops. I don't know why, but he makes me laugh a lot. Or he's just a guy who likes ice cream.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why he made me laugh so much. I guess just because he's so casual. But it's like that. It's like they could do like the full spectrum, all the audio visual stuff they want to do when it comes to jokes. But then when they're doing a podcast, all the jokes have to be, almost all the jokes. They will break character sometime to like have events happen in that world. But like for the most part, all the jokes are like visual gags. I mean, they're good. Right, they hold up, so I'm not complaining or anything.
Well, that's also the thing with Pendleton Ward's style of like cartoon making, where it's like it's very chaotic yet relaxing. Like you look at all this crazy stuff going on, and you'd think like, Any other show, this would be like, I don't know, like a Rick and Morty or something, where it's just like, I'm not saying Rick and Morty is bad, but just like a lot of like crass, like loud humor.
Talk about doo-doo butts and stuff.
Yeah, but instead it's just a very relaxing show to watch. You know, another thing that he's good at is just like creating characters you want to hang out with. Because like, you look at like Clancy and you're like, he seems like a down-to-earth guy. I just want to hang out with that guy. It's like Finn and Jake
I'd love
in
to be-
Adventure Time. Like,
I'd love to be
you want to
Jimmy
just go
for
hang out
Spacecast.
with them.
I'd love to hang out with Finn and Jake and Marceline. You're right. Yeah, I do want to hang out with these guys. Well, I mean, okay, here's the thing, but is that just because maybe I'm biased? Because I like those shows a lot. It's like, of course, I'd want to hang out with these characters.
I think he's good at making them feel like, I don't know, like friends you've known in real life.
I guess my next point, I guess should go in chronological order, which for me on my points list is 2, 3, 1. But my third point, which is technically my second point, is that the last episode is really, really, really good. Should we do is it spoilers? Is it
I mean,
gonna be
at this point we can. I'll put like a timestamp here or something.
Is there or can we put a giant thing on the screen that says spoilers?
Yes, we can.
So that people scrubbing through will know that there's spoilers at this part.
Yes.
But no, the final episode is he does his podcast with his own mom. And, you know, throughout it, they talk about a lot of stuff, like, you know, they talk about, like, spiritual stuff and, like, you know, what it's like to, like, you know, raise a kid and the early stuff that he does in life. What's it called? And then it, like, goes to a point where, like, all of a sudden she, like, she doesn't reveal because it's like, you know, that's his real mom. Like, that's the actual voice actors. That's his actual mom. And so he's the mom in the show. She's a mom in the show and in real life. And she, like, she tells all people on podcasts that she has, she has breast cancer, right?
I think
because he says bone cancer by mistake, and then she corrects and says breast cancer.
Which is that you have stage 4 bone cancer.
Metastatic breast cancer.
Metastatic breast cancer.
That's like really hard to watch. Where it's like a legitimate mother and son having to, like, you know, he is gonna have to deal with her loss, and she's gonna have to deal with her own death, and it's like, and this is the part where, like, the animation is so, like, amazing because throughout their whole conversation the whole time,
they're each aging.
They're each aging rapidly.
It's like what I was saying before, where like you couldn't do that with live action. Maybe you could, but it'd be very difficult to do.
It wouldn't be like a fun or like really like introspective thing. It would be like part of like a horror movie. Yeah, it'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah, here it's very like it's emotional. Like it gets to you, I'd say.
But then, you know, also the story outside the podcast is also happening, and he gets.
And I think it was, from what I've looked up, I don't remember if it was 3 weeks or 3 months, but it was one of those. The mom died shortly after, so yeah, she's no longer alive. But I guess that was kind of expected, considering she kept talking about how she had 6 months left.
Yeah, and this was and you said this was an old podcast. So.
Yeah, it's like 2013, I think.
But yeah, no, and then it's like, and then he gets like trapped in his like multiverse generator thing, and then the police who were tracking him like blow it up. Which, by the way, I know this is a departure from like the emotional stuff with the mom, but I really love the cops just going, yeah, we're cops, and they like breaking shit
just
and like
real cops.
and like shooting people and stuff. It's like, I'm a good cop. Yeah, we're good cops.
Yeah.
But then was it? And then I like that they get their just desserts. Of course, they get trapped in the wobble, which that's also a really funny song where they're talking about all the different colored wobbles, and it has no cadence at all. There's no rhythm. And he gets trapped in there, and then it's like all the people that he's met on his like journeys, they're all there on the same bus with him, and he's like, "Am I dead?" And everyone just laughs, and the bus leaves, and that's the end.
Yeah, it really, it's like you said. I don't know if they plan to do another season or not. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I know Pendleton Ward said, like, this is when he left Adventure Time. He said that he never wanted to do, like, create another anime show again. But then he did this anyway.
I'm pretty sure what he meant is he doesn't want to make another Adventure Time again because, like,
where, like,
fandom is horrible.
They take over. I don't know if studio execs is the right word, but from what I've heard, it was just a lot of creative differences, and I don't think he was really there for the story stuff.
I mean, this really showed that he is unrestrained. Like, there's as I said, there's graphic birth. There's, like, people drinking milk from, like, animals' like breasts, and there's people
funny,
like stuff coming out of people's not only coming out of but also going into people's butts.
What's weird about that though is that like that should be like disgusting to watch, but because it's drawn in such like a cutesy like cartoony
I mean, it still makes me recoil.
I wasn't really bothered by that stuff. I thought like it was just
like I was eating chicken wings. I was eating chicken wings when his mom was born. Okay, so
okay.
I'm allowed to say that.
That makes sense.
Like that final episode's great, and this leads finally into my last point, which is that do you think there should be a sequel? Even if it's wanted, do you think there should be a sequel? Because I am of the opinion that there shouldn't be, because I really like the weird kind of finality of it, of his like machine breaking and like
just dying. But like after all the stuff with his mom and like that's it's like the perfect way to end it.
It is the perfect way to end it. Like you can't have that again, and it's like, what's it called? And I mean, but it's like in the actual story of the show, there are some loose threads that don't really get resolved, like the stuff with his sister, right?
Oh yeah.
Or was it like that other family that lives in the ribbon where they're like harvesting artifacts and stuff?
Yeah, I don't really know what happens to them, but I don't care either.
They also just go inside one of their multiverse things and disappear.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, it's like there are still some things that like would be like interesting to go back to, and like because the actual world itself, the actual like cartoon world is like really interesting, but it's like I don't think that's worth doing a whole second season. I
mean, I don't know if Pelton Ward is working on anything new, but like if you want to do something similar but like with something different, I think that'd be a cool idea.
He'll animate like my brother and me.
Well, I just mean like I'm thinking of like my idea would be like if there was a show where people just like describe their dreams or something, but then like they animate that. I think that'd be really cool.
I personally really love dreams. I would love to see some people's dreams animated by like whatever studio that was under the guide of Pendleton Ward. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Kind of chaotic energy.
Was it Titmouse? Weren't they the ones who did it?
Yeah, it was Titmouse. Yeah, I wouldn't even mind if it was a spiritual successor to Midnight Gospel. Or, like, even the second season, but it just has nothing to do with the first one. It's just there because it's name recognition. Like,
alright. So, do you have anything else to add before we start wrapping up?
No. Sorry.
Okay.
I only had 3 points.
That's alright. I don't have any other points either. But I think, all in all, I mean, you've heard us praising it this whole time, but I really enjoyed this show. It's might be the best thing I've watched this year so far, which isn't saying much because I haven't watched very many shows this year. But
and, I was gonna say, just to date this video, we are, you know, in the middle of a pandemic, so it's not a lot of creative stuff is coming out right now.
I don't know, except for Netflix. They're like,
they're allowed to do that.
They're making bank in this pandemic.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I sorry, what else were you gonna say?
I don't know. I was just saying, pretty much it's a good show. You should go watch it. June, what do you have to say? Should we go watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's our answer. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Maybe we'll be back again soon with another video. And goodbye.
And live giraffe birth right now.